operators, right? So here we have different operators. In the programming language we'll use different operators for doing what? Different kind of mathematical operations. So when we talk about the operators, right? So in Java there are four different types of operators, four different categories of operators are there which you can use, right? So one, the basic, very basic operators which we use very regularly for our operations, that is arithmetic operators, right? And you have operators like arithmetic operators for arithmetic operations. So you have operators like relational operators for some conditions checking and all. You have operators like logical operators, and fourth we have operators like bitwise operators which works on bits, right? So these are the few operators we have. If you see some examples of these operators, whatever we have, plus, minus, uh, multiplies, divided by, right? So then you have plus plus comma minus minus, like this you have different operators, ternary operators. And if you talk about the relational operators, right? So here comma etc, some operators we have like this. And you have relational less, comma less than, equals, and greater than, equals, and like this we have some operators, assignment operators, equality operator you have, one more important. So like this we have some few operators which are used for something to check the conditions and all. You have logical operators, we generally call them as and or operator, which generally used for again checking the conditions and all. Or in Java we use some special symbols to represent this and or. Double ampersand symbols are used to represent and, double pipe symbols are used to represent what? Or. So this is the and operator and this is the or operator you have, right? So bitwise operators, again bitwise and bitwise or, like this shift operators, left shift, right shift, like this you have different operators in the bitwise. Anyways, we'll be not seeing this bitwise operators, right, left shift, right shift, like this you have different bitwise operators, right, etc. And each operator has its own way of performing operations, right? So the basic operators, as this category, arithmetic operations operators, everybody knows what they are going to do and all, right? So few of the important operators we'll discuss from this category, arithmetic operators. Then we'll discuss what relational operators can be, how can be used for, and where we use these relational operators. Again, logical operators. We are not going to discuss any bitwise operators because they are there, but in development environments they are very rarely used. So I'm not interested in discussing these things. So we'll be seeing these. These are the very regularly used three different types of operators we have, and we'll discuss each of them, right? And very regularly used operators I'm going to discuss now, right? So we'll talk about the first operator. We'll be seeing the first operator here, the plus operator. We talk about this operator, right? So this is the one, plus. This is the one which so this is the one which operator which I'm interested to discuss, right? Plus operator, right? So what is this? Why I'm interested to discuss this, right? So this operator is very important coming to the progress, right? So this plus operator, whatever I'm discussing, this plus operator plus operator has two different behaviors. Coming to Java, this plus operator is having two different behaviors. One we call as, right, first behavior, very natural behavior, whatever we have here. So it has two different behaviors. Are there any special symbols I can insert? Yeah, this is the one. So this is the operator which has two different behaviors. This is the one, and its two behaviors are like this. The first behavior is, it is basic. It is used to perform arithmetic addition operation. It's a very regular, whatever we use in very regular mathematical scenario, we use this. The second operation of this is a very interesting and very important operation. This is also used to do string concatenation. We call it as string concatenation. These are the two operations we have for these operators, right? Very important. So such kind of anything which performs what, more than one operation, they are called as overloaded, right? So to the existing behavior, to this existing behavior, we'll be giving some new addition behavior, so they are called as overloading. This is one of the future of object orientation, right? So this plus operator has two different behaviors, and those two different behaviors are, this is the one very naturally, it's a very regular and natural behavior you have for this, and every day's regular life we will use in for this. Coming to Java people has provided one extra behavior for this. This is called as string concatenation, right? So what is this string concatenation, and how it works here, right? So its behavior changes according to the input. Generally it operates, it is requires two inputs. One is operand 1. Minimum of operands are required for this operator is 2 operands are required for this. Based on these operands, if these two operands are numerics, then it is going to add them. Any one of these two operands is string, it is going to concatenate them. Concatenation means what? To the existing string it is going to append the new one. To the end of the existing one it is going to append the new one. That is called as concatenation, right? So based on the input, whatever the input we give, it is going to perform these operations. If you give the two operations, if you pass the two inputs as integers, numerics, it is going to perform addition operation. Any one of these two is string, it is going to perform what? Concatenation, right? So we quickly see this, what it is going to do by writing a simple program, right? Let me take, I don't want to write a program from the scratch. We already had some programs here, online classes, find all files. Let me take some file, right? A new Java, and string or something, arithmetic meaningful names, addition, example, or we take different name, addition operator. Now I'm going to take some basic addition operation here. Int, already we have seen this, operand 1, the value I'm assigning to this is 10. Int operand 2 is 20, right? So 2. Now I'm going to perform operand 1 plus operand 2. So the result would be again integer, right? So I'm just printing this. It's a very basic mathematical operation. I think no need of any logical thinking is required to write this result, right? Just let me save this program with this class name, and as we discussed, always it is recommended to take the public classes dot Java. It is saved. Now let me go to the location where I have saved it. It is saved in a CD online classes, right? Java C, what is it? Addition operator example dot Java. right? Java space addition operator. It is adding those two numbers and it is giving you the result, right? It's a very simple operation. Now here, now if any one of these two is strings, right? So for this, let me write some system.out.println here. System dot, directly you can write the output inside this println. Something I'm writing here, 10 plus or 100 plus 110. Directly I'm writing this. This is going to perform addition operation. You got 210. Now, what is the meaning of string concatenation then? Now I'm going to take two string values, and whenever you have string data, we will use what? Double quotations to represent string data. HELLO plus space, two spaces, how are you? Something I'm adding. So what I'm doing here, these two operands are not what? These two operands are not numeric. These are called as what? Strings in the programming language. They are called as strings. Now I'm trying to add these two strings. So what it is going to do here? It is going to append the second string to the end of first string, right? Now let's see what it is going to do for me. Observe, it is compiled, no error. Now see this. Now system.out.println of it is concatenating the both. Now you can see there, hello, how are you? It is concatenating the both. So it is, see here. So in this operation, it is doing the addition, and in this operation, it is doing the concatenation. So it has two different behaviors. It has two different behaviors, right? The first behavior of this operator, right? The first behavior of this operator is addition operation, and the second behavior, which is explicitly given by in the Java world, Java programming language, that is string concatenation. Now let me write one more statement to clearly see this, right? I'm going to write one simple println statement again to more clearly understand this operator, how it is going to work, right? Now I'm going to write like this in simple. 12 plus 13. Hello plus 12 plus 13. Right? And the same I'm going to do, but in a reverse. Now same here, but I'm taking 12 plus 13 before. 12 plus 13 plus. And I'm removing this to the end. Both system.out.println, where I'm performing 12 plus 13 plus hello. But one is before, one is after. Now let us run this, so that what it is giving for us. Just see this. Now very interesting. We observe this output here. It has given hello 12 13, but in the second operation it has given 25 hello. Right? So it is not adding 12 and 13. What it is doing in this case, it is concatenating 12 to 13. So 13 is appended as it is to the end of what? 12. 13 is appended to the end of what? 12 is appended to the end of 13. No, 13 is appended to the end of 12 as it is, right? So if we clearly observe this, how this operation is performed. As I said, when you have two operands, out of these two operands, if one is string, the total result is going to be converted to a string. So the system.out.println is going to execute from left to right. Now first it takes hello, and it is going to add this hello to what? 12. So hello and 12, it becomes hello 12, and complete result is one string, right? To this existing string, again it is going to add 13. So it becomes what? Hello 12 is string plus again some data. So it is not addition, it is going to concatenate it. So this operation, everywhere it is performing concatenation operation only. String concatenation this is. So hello 12. 12 is concatenated to the end of hello, and overall result becomes a string, and to that string it is going to concatenate again 13. That means hello 12 to the end it is added 13. That is the reason why you can see here hello 12 13. It is concatenation. Now what happened to the second expression? Now this is a very interesting expression to observe here. 12 plus 13, it is added because both operands are of type numerics. It is added, numeric addition operation. Then to this result, because you have one more string literal here, the string is appended to the result of 12 plus 13. So it becomes what? First 25, then concatenation. So in this first operation, this is doing what? Addition. The second operation, it is doing what? Concatenation. Right? So this is the one special operator you have. This is the one operator you have in Java, which is having what? Which has two different operations and very important operators. Very important operator you have with two behaviors, and all these two behaviors are implicitly provided by the Java people, right? So, and we'll be using like this. So I can say no other operator in Java which has such kind of two different operations, and when it is performing these two different operations is important, right? It performs these two different operations based on the input. If your input is both integers, then it is going to concatenate. If both integers, it is going to add. If any one is string, it is going to concatenate. Concatenate means what? To the end. One string will be appended to the end of other string here. How are you is appended to the end of this one, right? So hello is appended to the 25, 12 is appended to hello, and 13 is appended to hello 12. This is the one most important operator we come across, and very important operator, right? So has two different behaviors. So this is what one operator you have, plus operator, which has two different behaviors, arithmetic addition as well as string concatenation, right? So more regularly we use this, right? So the remaining operators, not special operators. Minus, same. Division, minus means what? Subtraction. It is going to subtract, no special behavior you have, very basic arithmetic operation. Multiplication, same. Divided by, same, no special behavior you have. So the ones we, if you want, we will discuss these operators. So these operators will have works in two different ways, right? So these operators can be these plus plus and minus minus, right? So they can be categorized like, right? These are two different you have here, not two different behaviors, but two different ways we use this. Pre and post. Pre-incrementation, post-incrementation. In the same way, pre-decrementation as well as post-decrementation, right? Pre-incrementation, pre-incrementation and post-incrementation, pre-decrementation and post-decrementation, right? So here, now what is the meaning of this, right? Very regularly we come across whenever you use loops, iterative statements, there we very regularly come across this, right? So what is this operator, how it is going to work for you? This operator works in a different way. This operator is going to work, these two operators works in different way, right? So generally, now as we have seen, a variable can be declared and can be initialized. Now if you want to modify the value of this variable, absolutely you can modify the value inside this variable by adding like this, right? So if you print this I value, if you print this I value, x value here, sorry, now if you print this x value, always it gives you the latest value which is stored inside it, the new value which is stored inside this. Now it has, this is the value which is stored inside this. Now just compile this, you got x is equal to 11, right? Or to the existing value, if you want to add 1, so what is the meaning of this expression? Whatever the value I have in the x, to this I am going to add 1, and not only this, whatever the result I am getting, just I am storing in the same variable, x is equal to x plus 1, very common operation we will use, right? So I am going to append, I am going to add 1 to the existing data of x. Not only adding 1 to value of x, I am going to store the again the same result into x. Now previous operation, both this operation, both results the same, right? Or if I do what? 2, it is going to do what? 10 plus 2 In the x I have 10. It is adding 2 to this, and the result will be again stored into x. Already yesterday I told you, whenever you come across this assignment operator, always try to read from right to left. So first this will be completed this side. So it becomes what? 10 plus 2. Then the result will be stored again into what? The same variable, x. Now if you see this, it is going to do the same here. Now we have x is equal to 12. But instead of doing this, instead of writing this expression, x is equal to x plus 1, you can write in a different way. Instead of writing this big expression, so you can simply write in simple manner x plus plus. X plus plus. What is the meaning of this? X plus plus mean same, x is equal to x plus 1. This is equals to, is very much equals to, x is equals to x plus 1. This is the comment I am using, single line comment, and this is multi-line comments previously I have used. So if you see this, whenever you want to increment the value of a variable by 1, and always it is going to increment or decrement the value by 1, not more. Whenever you want to increment the value of a variable by 1, instead of writing this big expression, you can simply do it like this, x plus plus. The meaning of this is increment the x value by 1 and store the same data into what? Again the store the data into what? X. That is the meaning of x plus plus. The same way you can use x minus minus. What it is going to do? It is nothing but x is equals to x minus 1. It is going to decrement the x value by 1, and it is going to store the result into again back into what? X. So it is x is equal to x minus 1. 10 minus 1 again stored into what? This one. But there is a slight difference you have in between. So whenever you use this operator next to a variable, whenever you use this operator next to a variable, it is called as post. If you use the same operator before a variable, it is called as pre. This is called as pre-decrementation. If you use the same variable like next to this variable, it is called as post. There is a slight difference is there between pre and post, right? So here the result you will be seeing in both cases 9 only, but there is a slight difference. We'll try to understand this, right? So this is what incrementation, this is pre-decrementation and this is pre-incrementation. And if you put these things next to this variable, post incrementation, post decrementation, there is a slight difference between them, right? Now what I'm going to do is right, let me write instead of this, let me do here in the system.out.println only I'm writing this, but carefully observe this what I'm doing here. So I'm not concatenating here. X is equal to concatenation operator, and it is going to concatenate the result of this to what? X is equal to. Now let's see what happens here. I have used post increment. Post increment there, it is compiled fine. Compile it. Again compilation. You got still 10. I told you it is going to increment by 1, but it is not. It is 10. This is the post increment, but still it is giving me 10. Now let me use pre-increment operator. Pre-increment plus plus. Now let me run this. See, it is incremented by 1. Okay, right? Then what is it? I told you it is going to increment the value by 1. So the difference is, whenever you increment it by using pre, whatever the value which is incremented, it will be immediately is going to come into picture. It is immediately comes into usage. So in the same statement it is comes into usage. That is the meaning of pre. So it has incremented and it has come into usage in the same statement. It is the same is the case with what? Post. It is incremented, but it comes into the usage from the next statement. That is the meaning of post. Increment in the statement, but increments in the same statement, but comes into the usage from the next statement. From the next statement means, now I am going to print the x value here. So I have incremented the x value in the previous system.out.println. Here I have incremented the x value. So this statement I have incremented system.out.println. This is one where I have incremented the x value, right? And I'm printing both statements, and here I'm printing the x value in the next statement. Now let's see here. See, when I have incremented, in that statement it is 10 only, but in the next statement it is 11. So that is the difference. It is going to increment it, but the usage of that value will come into picture from the next statement. But it is not the case with pre. When you do this pre-incrementation here, it is going to increment the value, and the usage of that value comes into the picture in the same statement. See, both cases it is 11. Value will be incremented and it can be used in the same statement, the incremented value. But in the post, the value will be incremented and it comes into the usage from the next statement. But both increments the value. The one is important thing to remember. Right? So this is what we have. It is the same case with what? Decrement operator also. Pre-decrement and post-decrement. Right? And these operators can be used with variables only. You cannot directly use them on the data. And absolutely you cannot mix the things here. It is wrong to mix these operators. You cannot mix the things. No. Only one operator is allowed. And you cannot directly use these operators on the data. Right? So these are the two syntactical rules you have. No. You require the variable. You require the variable like this. So this is what you have. Post increment and pre and post increments and decrements. Right? Guys, if you have any questions, now you can ask on these operators. Just reply me whether you have questions or not, yes or no, so that I can continue. Chat. No, Vipin. Good. Next. No, Bansal. Good. Jitendra is also said no. It's fine. Cool. Then we'll continue. Right? So this is two different operators you have, pre and post incrementation and decrementation, and always remember that it is always going to increment the value by 1 only. It is always going to increment the value by 1 only. Right? So this is a very important operator you have, and the most important operator. These are very rarely used, very regularly we use these operators in for loops. You might know the for loops and looping iterative statements we technically call, right? And the most important operator, without this you don't imagine a single program also, that is what? Assignment operator. Very important operator. So there are two types of assignments we have: simple assignment, the second one is compound assignment. Simple assignment and compound assignment. What does it mean? Simple assignment is this is the one, only one operator. Single equals is called as assignment operator, right? And compound assignment is looks like this: plus equal, comma, minus equal, comma, multiplication equal, comma, divided by equal, like this, modulus equal. Yes, you have this also. These are all called as what? Compound assignment, modulus. These are compound assignment operators, right? Like this you have, right? So what are they going to do? First we'll see what is simple assignment operator, right? Everywhere you have such kind of assignment operators, everywhere, right? Now, but we have some syntactical rules here to work with this simple assignment operator, right? Now it looks very simple, but every assignment operation in your program, whatever you assign, this operator will be evaluated by the compiler. The compiler is going to check whether your assignments are correct or not. If your assignments are correct, then only the compiler is going to compile your statement. Assignments are correct means what? Right? So here this is what we have seen, declaration. Now if you want to store the value inside I, the value should be of integer type within the range. Now if you try to store some value inside this and which is not of type integer, your compiler will not allow you to do this. Every assignment is compile time check. Saying what? Boss, you required an integer data, but you have passed a string data. No, I am not going to allow this. Every assignment is compulsory checked by your compiler. Compilers checks whether this assignment is correct or not. And very interesting thing, a very important point to be remembered is, so this is the data. Always you will have this side the data. Always you will have this side the data. This can be primitive data, it can be user defined data, or variables which will have some data. And this is the data which is stored or which is given a name I, and this data is of type what? Integer. Always you need to read from left to right. Right? So you can use, as we discussed, there are two different types of assignments. While you declare the variable itself, you can assign it. The one, while declaring the variable itself, you can assign it. So this is called a static initialization, right? Or dynamic initialization is also possible, right? Dynamic initialization is also possible. Something like this. Already we have seen this example. Int some result is equals to I plus j. This is example of dynamic initialization. Means the result, the value of the result will depend on the value of what? I plus j. This is dynamic. If the I changes, result changes. If j changes, result changes. This is static and this is dynamic, right? So like this, while declaring a variable, while declaration itself, while declaring the variable itself, you can initialize its value, and we use assignment operator to initialize the values. To initialize the data, we use a assignment operator. So whatever the result is there, and this result is stored, whatever the result is produced by adding these two numbers will be stored into a variable called as res, and this should be written, read from this, and at the same time you can initialize with what. So this is actually generally we don't do practical in general, right? This is right, a comma b comma c. What is the meaning of this declaration? A, B, C, all variables of type integer, and you can initialize all them by using a single statement. So what does it mean? How it works? How this operator is going to work here? As I told you, right to left, 10 is copied into C. Whatever the value you have in C, it is copied into B. Whatever the value you have in B, it is copied into A. This is how this operator works. So all values, ABC values, all are what? 10 only. System dot out dot println, right? A value. I want to append a space. We use concatenation operator. Again, I want to append a space. We use concatenation operator. So A value will be printed, then a space, then B value will be printed, then a space, then C value will be printed. All will have the same value. No compilation errors. We have 10, 10, 10. So the same 10 is assigned to C. The value of C is copied into B. The value of B is copied into what? A. Right? While declaring itself, if you want to initialize multiple variables, absolutely you can do 10, 20, 30. This is also you can do. I am commenting this line. So while declaring multiple variables, you want to initialize multiple values to them. I have commented the middle line. 10, 20, 30. But they should be separated with commas. But you cannot do this. A is equals to, B is equals to, C is equal to 30. You cannot do this. This is a wrong expression. It says what? It says what? It takes only A is declared, but B and C are not declared. You cannot do this. Absolutely you cannot do this. If you want to initialize multiple declarations and multiple initializations, they should be like this only. Separated with what? Comma. Right? And generally it is not good practice to do like this. This is not correct. This is okay, you can do it in a single statement, but it is not correct programmatically. It is not that much readable in the programming. Not correct to do this. So this is what simple assignment, static and dynamic initializations, static and dynamic assignments. What about the compound assignment operators? What does they mean? Right? Same, yeah, already we have seen such kind of one example. Now previous one have int x, oh wrong, all small, 10. Previously I used x is equals to x plus 1. So I'm going to increment the value of x, and I would like to store this incremented value into the same x. But now I don't want, I want to go with what more. I want to increment the x value by more values. So this is just, this is a syntax I'm writing, simple syntax, very regular syntax, not a complex one, right? Just I would like to print the x value. I'm writing all statements in the same program. Compile, class, and execute. X is equal to 15. So what is this? X value is incremented by 5. Not only that, it is again stored back into what? X. But if you don't want to write this complex operation, it can be simplified by using this compound assignment. So how we write it? X plus is equals to what? 5. How to write it? X plus equals to 5. It is same like x is equal to x plus 5. What it is going to do? It is going to increment the x value by 5, and it is going to store that result into what? Again x. That is the meaning of x is equal to x plus 5. Now here you can increment how much value you want to increment, you can increment it. 10, 20, 30, that's up to your choice. X is equal to x plus 5. Same expression. Now let me change it to 10. So 10 is equal to, x is equal to x plus 10. The overall result becomes 20. Right? So like this you can do compound. Minus, you have compound assignment operator which performs subtraction operation for you, which performs multiplication operation for you, which performs division operation for you. All operations it is going to perform. Right? So these are compound assignment operators. So they are different from pre-increment and post-increment operators. They increment the value by only 1. And these operators can increment the value or decrement the value, not only incrementation and decrementation. You can go with what? Multiplication. Now what it is going to do? When I write like this, 10 x is equal to x into 10, the result will be 100. Right? So this multiplication operator is not there in that pre and post incrementations, right? So this is x is equal to x into 10. So whenever you want to modify the value of the existing variable, so you can modify it. And not only modifying, storing the result back into what? The same variable. That is called as, that is we use compound assignment. Again the operation, this right side will be executed first, and whatever the result which is produced, stored into what? This variable. This is what we have here, right? So that is what compound operators, plus, minus and all. So if you want to increment and if you want to decrement, it is going to do this. So these are two different types of assignment operators you have, right? The first one is simple assignment, where the value will be stored back into what? X. The second one is compound assignment. It is going to multiply or subtract or add or divide, modulus. It is going to do for you, right? So these are the two different types of assignments we have, assignment operators. But again, very basic. I don't think that this is complex to understand. Do you have any doubts in this? Okay. One cell says no. Good. Kiran says no. Good. Fine. It's okay. Then everybody says fine. Then let me write one expression here. Just give me the operation. Somebody is asking what is the meaning of this one. It is nothing but what? It is equal to x is equal to x by 5. X by 5 means what? 10 by 5. The result will be, right? 2. 10 by 5. Now I'm going to write some simple expression then. Let's see how you analyze it. Okay, fine. Int x is equal to 10. Y is equal to 10. Just give me the answers back. So that's it. Right? This is my expression. Looks like this. My expression is x plus equals y into equals z divided by equals 2. So what is the value of x, y, z? After this expression, what would be the value of x, y, z? Let's see how much you understand. X plus equal to y into equal to z by equal to 2. $60 for what? 3 variables will have values. Z is 5, y is 50, x is 60. Fine, somebody has given his answer. Fine, z is 5, y is 50, x is 60. Somebody has given. Let me check with others. Yeah, you have your own analysis, Ashish. Just let me verify with others. Jitendra. Fine. Waiting for still more replies. No problem. Whatever the answer you give is correct. Don't worry about the answers. If you give the wrong also, I'm going to clarify it. Say yes or no, at least. No or yes. If you know, type the answer. If you don't know, say no. Okay then, wait. Just let me run this program. Let's see what it is going to give. 5, 50, 60, right? So this expression, as I told you, assignment operator starts execution from this one. So first this will be executed. What it becomes? Z is equal to Z by 2. Z equals to Z by 2. That means 10 by 2. And the result will be stored into Z. Z equals to Z by 2. 10 by 2. The result will be stored into Z. So Z value is 5. Then Y, what happens to Y? Y. Y is equal to Y into Z. That is the meaning. Y equal to Y into Z. And Y value is 10 into Z. Z value is 5. 50. And that is stored in Y. Then this is X is equal to X plus Y. Already 50 is there in Y, and in the X you have 10. X becomes 60. So 5, 50, 60. Right? So this is how. So you can use this kind of operations. This is where you need to focus. This is some tricky bit actually. So always just to check how it works. Is it clear? Always it works from right to left. See? That is the reason why you got this answer. 5, 50, 60. Right to left. Right? Anyways, go try. Now this is what you have here. This is compound assignment operators. Right? So still you have the operators like, right, very important operator, more very regularly used again, equality, right, equality operator to compare whether the given data exactly identical, same, both, given both operands are exactly identical, same data. So this is to check this one, right, and it is used, very important to remember, whatever you use up to now, whatever the operators we have used, they are used only on primitive data, only on primitive data. But this is the operator which can be used on both. So which can be used on primitive data. As we discussed, there are two different types of data we have. This is used on primitive data, as well as this can be used on reference data. Both. It will be used on primitive as well as what references on both data. Right? So this is the one operator which operates on both. Reference data is nothing but the data which I am going to create, user defined. We did not see this. We'll be seeing this later. Don't much think about this reference data right now. Right? So this is what. Now it is going to, when you use this operator on primitives, right? And some important things to be noted. So all operators results you some kind of results you some kind of data, and this operator returns you this operator result, where result will be what? The output of this operator. So the output of this operator is always it returns you the data, and that data is Boolean. It will not return any data apart from Booleans. No, not possible. Any operator returns you some data. Whenever you use that operator, it performs some operations and it returns you some data. And the input for this is any primitive and reference data, and it gives you what? These two are the different inputs you can pass, and it always gives you the results in the form of Booleans. That means how many values you have in the Booleans. There are only two values possible, true or false, strictly true or false, no other data, right? Now if you want to use it, system.out.println 1 double equals to 2. So it is going to compare whether they are exactly same. The data it is going to compare whether they are same or not. If they are same, returns true. If they are not same, returns false. Simple. Let me compile the previous program. Right? So whenever the data you will be getting, directly you can get the data in the system.out.println. You can print it. It's false. 1 not equals to what? 2. Now if I have 1 equals to 1, it's fine. True. Right? So it compares exactly the same. The data should be same. Right? And if it is true, if it is same, returns true. If it is not same, returns false. and exactly opposite to that we have not equals. Now it returns what it returns? 1 not equals to 1. No, it is equals. Then it is going to return you what? False. 1 not equals to true. Yes, 1 not equals to 2. It is correct. It returns true. Right? So like this you have. So this is what? Equality operator. Comparison, which is going to compare. And remember that there is one simple rule we have. Whenever you want to compare, the data must be of same type. Comparison rule. Whenever you compare the things, we generally compare both same type. Right? The same rule applies here. It is not possible to compare different types of data. The data must be same. There is a one big rule you have here. So why it is not comparing? This is string. No, it cannot be compared with an integer. Absolutely not possible. So you should be very careful here. While you compare, you make sure that the data is same. Both are numerics. Then only it is going to compare. No problem with comparing floats. When you compare with floats, no problem. It is fine. True. Right? So make sure that the data is same. So this is what we have here, comparison operator. Right? So don't get confused between single equals and double equals. Single is equals is works like assignment operator, double equals is used to compare the things. Right? So quite opposite to this, we have not equals operator. So this is what you have equality operator. So we have discussed the operators like addition and concatenation, pre-increment, post-increment. We have discussed assignment, simple assignment, compound assignment. We have discussed equality. Any doubts in this up to now? So that we start with the new operators, some other operators. Guys, any doubts you have in this? What? Which one? Assignment operator and this operator. Both are different. This is called as assignment. It is used to store the data into this variable. This is comparison. Single equals to is different. Double equals to is different. This double equals comparison. This is single equals storing the data into a variable. If I use double equals, wrong. It always tries to compare the things, and that is no comparison. There is no comparison, right? It is only storing. That is what I'm trying to explain. This is assignment, storing the value. This is comparing the things. Is it the one which you have asked? Fine. Good. Cool. Right? So the next operators, we'll move on to the next category. These are the basic, very basic arithmetic operators which we regularly come across while developing the applications. But still you have one or two. I'm not going to discuss because we don't use these are the operators you have very regularly used. One is there, that is ternary. We see at the end. Now these are the relational operators. All relational operators are used for comparison only. Again the same story. How this equality operator is doing the comparison between the data. All these relational operators are used for comparison only, right? But this operator checks exactly the same data, but they can check a range of data. They are used to check the range of data, like this is what here, right? Same int in between some certain range. If you want to compare the things, yes, you can go for this. Int y is equals to 20. Now just I want to compare whether these two are like very simple. I don't think I need to explain these operators. Absolutely, I don't think I need to explain these operators. 10 greater than 20 checks, right? If it is greater, then returns you what? Some data. If it is not, then returns you some result. Let's see what is the result it is going to return for you. 10 greater than 20, no, false, right? So this is what you have here. These are relational operators, and all relational operators, what data they take as input? All relational operators, what data they take as input? The data which comes into this is the data which taken by this relational operators as input. Simple. Every operator, most of the operator requires what? Two operands. Both operands. Operand 1, operand 2. And what these both operands must be? Which type of data I must have there? The data must be of type what? Okay, this is, I have written like this. Sorry. This is what actually I meant. So what is this input here for this? Which type of data it is going to take as input is very important. What it is going to give outcome. What is the outcome of this? So what would be the outcome of this? So what they are going to take, on which type of data they are going to operate, and what they are going to result, right? So whenever you have comparison, whenever you come across comparison, blind, you can remember always the outcome for the comparisons in the programming languages is Boolean. Only two possible values as we discussed. What? True or false. Then what they take, on what data they operate? They operate only on primitive data. It is not possible to compare the reference data. We have 8 different types of primitive data available in Java, except Boolean. All primitives are allowed except Boolean. So it takes 7 primitive data values. It takes 7 primitive like literals as input, except Boolean. You cannot compare what? True less than false or false less than true. Not correct. You can compare only what? You can compare only non primitive data except booleans. So the input would be the primitives. Input would be what? Primitives except booleans. Any primitive data it accepts, right? So that is what we have. Right? So here always it returns you the boolean data. So both are comparing. This operator is also comparing and this operator is also comparing. But this is checks the exact data. This checks the range. Simple. Greater than or less than. Now 10 is x. The value in x is 10. Whether it is greater than or whether it is greater of what? Y. No. 10 is not greater than y. Now if you have less, now it is what? Returns you boolean data, true or false. Remember, only true or false. No ones, no zeros, no. Only true or false. Right? Equal to you can use. Now if I give, okay, if I give both same, what your expression becomes? 10 less than 10. Not correct. False. 10 not less than 10. Absolutely. But you can use, if I use less than equals to, that means the data may be less than, x value may be less, or x value may be equal to what? Y. If it is less or if it is equal, it is going to return you what? True. In all cases, apart from these two, it is going to return you what? False. This is what you have, true, because it is equals to 10. Right? So this is where you have Again the same story, greater than, less than. So this is a simple thing you need to remember. What is it? What data it should take, what data it will take, and what data it is going to return. It takes all non-Boolean values of primitives, right? So that is what you have. So you cannot write true, less than, false. No, wrong thing to do, right? Yeah. Bad operator to be used in between booleans. And blind point, as I told you previously, whenever you compare, always the comparison should be happened in the same type of data. No, you cannot compare these things ABC, not correct. Comparisons will be always unsame. No, bad operator, right? So you cannot use it. So this is what you have here, x, y. So you can pass the variables which are having the data, or you can pass the data itself. Right? So this is what you have. Relational operators checks the relation between the data and use it a bit only in between what primitive data. These are what you have. Right? Generally, again, we use this. Generally, we call them as decision making. Whenever you want to make the decisions, let's suppose I want to decide something. A basic example: whether a person is major or minor. There is age factor. If there is if the age is less than 18, right, I go with minor. If the age is less than 18, greater than 18, we will have what? Major. When you have multiple decisions to be taken, very basic example again, deciding about the averages, right? Grades. A, B, C, D grade will have. How you decide about this? Again by checking comparisons. If this is 70 greater than 70, then A less than this, B is like this. We'll have some decision makings. Whenever you come across decision makings in your programming, generally we make the decisions by using these operators, relational operators. Right? Any doubts in this, guys? Good. Always Vipin is replying me. What about others? I haven't seen any message from Jitendra at all. What? Jitendra? Fine. Right. So this is what you have here. And we have last operators. They are what? Logical operators we left with. Only two operators we have. And what are they? Or. We'll use like this. And what is the input for this? What is the output for this? These logical operators takes the input as only booleans. So these are operators which works with only booleans. So whenever you want to make the decisions based on boolean data, so input is boolean as well, output is also boolean, right? So whenever you have that in that case we go for what? Logical operators, right? So they work with boolean. So example, I'm going to take like this: system dot out dot println of true and false. The input and output both. So this is true and false is the input I am giving for this. True is the first operand and false is the second operand. This is the input I am giving. And whatever the result you are expecting from this is also boolean. True and false is false. True and false is false. True, false. Why true, false? I have some other statements here. I did not commented them. That is a problem. False. True and true is true. So whenever you have multiple conditions to be joined together, then in that case I will go for this. So here we will have one condition. Let's suppose I want to check whether 10 is less than or 20 is a one condition, and here this side I have one more condition. Let's suppose I want to check whether 20 is less than 30. So this returns you true and true. This is where you come across this operator. True. If 10 greater than, then this is false. Right? So there is one simple chart you have for this. You can remember by using that chart very simply. Again, insert table with 4 enough, I think. I think one more column is required. Let's see how many are required. Get this. I would like to take a fresh table here. Fine. It's enough for this. So whenever you have, because these operators works with only 2 operands, so you will come across 4 combinations, 2 factorial. Right? This is operand 1. This is operand 2. And when this operands in between, if I use a operator called as AND, what is the result is going to give? And when I use OR, what is the result is going to give? And the first one is you can take as serial number. So there will be possible 4 combinations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when operand 1 is true, as well operand 2 is also true, and returns you what? And returns you true. And R returns you. Make sure that these are all small letters, no capitals. As we have discussed, Java is case sensitive, all small. True, 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 everything. There is one more combination you can come across. True, false, this is AND is false, R is true. Right, one more combination you come across. False, true, it's again false, AND is false, and R is again true. And the last combination is false, false, all are false here. Simple table you can represent, and only 4 combinations you will come across. True and true, true and true, true, true and false, false, true, false and true, false, false and false, false. So you must have both true, then only AND returns you true. Right? You must have both false, then only R returns you false. In any case, R returns you true. Whenever you have both are false, then only it returns you false. In all cases, it returns you true. And returns you true only when you have both true. In all cases, it returns you what? False. Right? So this is what something introduction to what? Operators. Right? Now we have seen the operators like arithmetic operators, we have seen relational, we have seen logical, right? In the arithmetic, what important operators which we use very regularly we have seen, right? And logical and all. So these things will be coming across practicing the things, right? So this is what operators we have, right? So guys, like today I'm stopping the session here. Now if you have any